for TSS Fantasy. It's Commissioner Cooper, and it's time.
How the fuck you got me up this damn early, Jason?
It's time.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Commissioner Cooper, and you are waking up with TSS Fantasy.
Rise and shine.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey, indeed. All right, so welcome all. We got a busy show today. It is big time playoff fantasy, and we got a lot going on this morning. So I'm just going to preface the show prior to our introductions, letting you know we had to record this on Saturday. So we're actually doing this Saturday morning. We don't know what's going on with the Patriots-Colts game. So I do apologize for that. We'll talk about that, though, later in the show. However, I do want the reason why is because we're going to be heading down to Miami as we speak during Sunday morning. Going to do a couple of live shoots. We'll talk about that in a minute down in Miami. Let's start with the introductions. Welcome to the studio, Nick. You got Flandered Macaronis.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you. You can find me at You Got Flandered on Twitter, and you can also find our wonderful array of merchandise on TSSFantasy.com. Just go to TSS Fantasy, click on merchandise, and you will see our lovely array of hats, t-shirts, beanies, and mugs.
Indeed. All right. While you're there at TSS Fantasy, go check out our rankings. I did update them, but again, I know things are erratically changing as we go along. So if something's up there and someone got COVID since this time, then hey, I'm sorry, my bad. But they are updated, so you can go check those out. Also, visit all the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network. Great podcast on there, from wrestling to racing. We got it all, anything you need on there as well. So today I mentioned that we are heading down to Miami. Literally, as we are speaking to you right now, we are in a car heading down there. Heading down to Miami. We're going to do an on-scene shoot this morning down in Miami with some fans down there. We're going to talk a little fantasy. So we'll be on 4th and 4 later on today. That's part of your Wake Up with Belly Up Sunday lineup. So don't forget, right after us, it's the Bears pregame show with Coach Steve. Then we'll be on again from on 10 and 11 with 4th and 4. I believe we'll be coming on about 10:30 to do some fantasy analysis. From 11 to 12, you'll see the Rough Cut Sportscast. And from 12 to 1, Dan Mater's got your final fantasy questions. This is a busy week indeed. Don't forget, though, this is part of our contest week as well. So we want to congratulate the Ultimate Team winner first. That's Adrian Adolfo. Congratulations, my friend. You had the ultimate team this week. You won money. I don't remember. It was 300 and something. You guys kept upping it up, and so I don't know exactly what it was. It's 3-something. Congratulations.
It's 3-something.
Then also, the winner of the Commissioner Cooper's Top Running Back Challenge, Kelly Ingen, if I'm even saying that correctly. Congratulations. You'll be heading down. You and one other person will be heading down with the TSS crew today to watch the Miami Dolphins face the New York Jets. Also, as a special surprise, we're going to be holding the American flag on the field today as a special surprise to our contest winners. You know why, Nick? Because we are the fantasy show of the people. We'll have lots of pictures and videos of that, so stay tuned for that today. Lots of fun stuff. So let's get things started. We got to talk a little bit about injuries. We'll bring up the COVID. So let's start with the house call. He's the one that calls like a feel good. He's the one that makes you feel all right. He's the one that calls like a feel good. He's gonna be your Frankenstein. I got one. All righty. So, Nick, you can let me know if there's anyone that I missed here, but this is what I found out. We got Darren Waller. Obviously, he is out with the knee and back, so can't play him today. Foster Moreau, you can go ahead and start if you're in need of a tight end. Hasn't really done much thus far, but if you need somebody, there's somebody to plug in. Kareem Hunt is also out today. So if you are looking for a flex option, D'Ernest Johnson might be your guy. He's stepped up when he's been called upon. We know what the Browns like to do. Now, this game won't be taking place until later, but this is somebody that, again, the Browns like to run the ball. We don't know who's going to be quarterbacking, but either way, whomever it is, they're going to run the ball regardless. So, D'Ernest Johnson might be a guy to pick up. Damian Harris, he is out today with his hamstring. So, Ramondre Stevenson could be a big play. That'll be tonight. We'll talk about that in a little bit for that game. So, we'll see how that fares out. But, he would definitely get the bulk of the carries in an offense right now that really predicates their offense on running the football. Emmanuel Sanders, he's out today. So, Gabriel Davis, we've talked about him earlier in the week. He might be a good plug and play for you today. However, I will caution you, Carolina Panthers D, pretty decent. So, not just an easy guy to throw in there. Eli Mitchell, he is also out today, concussion and a knee. So he's got all kind of stuff going on. So he will be out today. We'll see what's going on in the 49ers backfield. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We'll talk about that in a second. DeAndre Swift is out today with a shoulder injury. So again, Jamal Williams takes the bulk of the carries today. We'll talk about what we think about him later on. DeAndre Hopkins, he's out for the season, and TJ Hawkinson out for the season as well. Carlos Hyde, concussion, he is out today. As well. Not that, he was expecting to play much, but he would be out. So again, with Urban Meyer out, all the talk about James Robinson now, this could be his time to really shine now that he has nobody basically behind him. So he's going to get every carry, goal line, catch, anything. It's going to be all James Robinson today. Daniel Jones, he's out, with the neck injury. We talked about that. Lamar Jackson, getting our questionables. He's questionable today. Hopefully something's come up in the meantime, but right now he's questionable. Same with Terry McLaurin in the concussion protocol as well. Leonard Fournette as well with an ankle. Jalen Hurts is also with the ankle. It's like the ankle. DJ Moore, hamstring, he's hurt as well. Javonte Williams is also hurt with the knee, so he's questionable. Tony Pollard may come back today. Valdez Scantling is also questionable. And Nick, you brought it up earlier, and apparently I did not get it in there. My bad. James Conner also with the label questionable today. So a lot of guys you need to monitor today. This is playoff time, so just make sure you are checking and monitoring your lineup. So we addressed the COVID last night, so I really don't want to go over all the names. I mean, we went over it last night. It's a lot of names to monitor. And as these games have been pushed to Monday and Tuesday, we don't know how that's going to affect things. Like Baker Mayfield, when he came out and made that statement, he's vaccinated. So what he's looking at is, hey, if I got 2 negative tests, I should be good to go by Tuesday. So Baker Mayfield may be available that game. So, we could go back and forth on these guys. I'm just not even going to want to talk about it right now, talk about them at this point. We'll just consider them out until we get further notice that they're in, and then go from there. Because really, it's just like I said, this situation is really fluctuating as we go along. So, again, bested fantasy advice is really monitor what's going on. All righty. Nick, anything to comment on the injuries today?
No. Also, Zach Ertz is also questionable as well.
Ooh, I did not catch that. So that's
2 big studs.
Yeah, with Hopkins out, I expect Ertz to have a big day today. So, that stinks to hear that. So hopefully he does go, because, we should see a good day out of Kyler Murray against the Detroit shitty defense. All right, let's talk about the weather. It's gonna be bright, sunshiny day. All right, today on the weather reports, let's start I was about to go into Indy when they have a dome, but that's already been played. I keep forgetting.
It is 38 degrees outside, though.
Oh, nice. Thank you. All right. That's important to know, though. The fans, when they pull up, they got to know how hot it is as they walk into the stadium. New England, excuse me, I went right to it again. Carolina at Buffalo today, 25 degrees. So it is chilly, mostly cloudy, 2 winds, 9 miles an hour. So a very chilly day. Nick, I believe you commented earlier about the Bills tickets. You want to make that statement now? How much were those tickets going for?
$9. So if you want to get out and spend $9 to sit in 31-degree weather, you are better than me, my friend, because I'll tell you what, it's going to take a lot more than $9 to get me out there.
Yeah, I would have to say, might need to pay me. Us Florida boys can't handle that cold, that's for sure. Jets going to Miami. We'll be down there. It's going to be a little hot, 80 degrees. Light rain possibly as well. Winds at 8 miles an hour. So we'll see how it is. Again, we'll be reporting live here shortly. So, look out for us today on Twitter and stuff, making some fun stuff down on the field for sure. All right, let's go. Cardinals at Lions at Dome. Who cares? And we go to Dallas at the New York Giants. 39 degrees, mostly cloudy. Winds today, 14 miles an hour. Watch out now. So, again, the elements may play a part in this game. So you might want to watch out Dak for today. Maybe see a little more ground and pound from Zeke. That's what I would expect. Also, the Tennessee Titans go to Pittsburgh, where it's 31 degrees, mostly cloudy, 7 miles an hour is the wind. So, again, chilly day with a little breeze to it. So, watch for conditions playing a part. Houston goes to Jacksonville. This is the weather I want to play in. 69 degrees, mostly cloudy, 8 mile an hour wind. So, very nice weather indeed. Green Bay goes to Baltimore. The temperature is 40 miles an hour. 40 degrees. It's mostly cloudy, and the winds, that's why I was getting thrown off, they're also 14 miles an hour. So watch out today in Baltimore. Some winds may play a factor. Cincinnati at Denver. We talk about the warm weather in Denver. It's 59. It's almost like wow weather. Clear skies and 3 mile an hour winds. Very nice weather in Denver indeed. Let's go to the West Coast where Atlanta's going to play San Francisco 49ers. 51 degrees, partly cloudy, and 4 mile an hour winds. New Orleans goes to Tampa Bay at the 8 o'clock game. 72 degrees, partly cloudy, winds 7 miles an hour. Las Vegas at Cleveland. This is part of the Monday night doubleheader. 43 degrees and clear skies. Winds, though, 12 miles an hour. 12 miles per hour. So might want to check out the weather report Monday night because if it's winds might pick up. So might make this game a little more interesting as well. Minnesota at Chicago. 34 degrees, partly cloudy, winds there, 9 miles an hour. So just to note that as well. And then on the Tuesday night, so far what they have for at Philly, when the football team goes there, it is 40 degrees, clear skies, 3 mile an hour winds. So weather will not play a factor into that game whatsoever. But COVID certainly might indeed. All right. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to start our Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday breakdown.
Hey everyone, it's Commissioner Cooper from TSS Fantasy. We are the fantasy show of the people, and our network, the Belly Up Sports Podcast Network, is no different. So we teamed up with our friends from Manscaped to give back to the people for an exciting holiday giveaway. We want you to look and feel smooth this holiday season. So we're giving away the Manscaped 4.0 Performance Package. And all you have to do is go to our Facebook page at Belly Up Sports, give us a like, and that well-deserved 5-star review, and you're entered to win. It's as simple as Grandma's holiday pie, and who knows what holiday magic awaits once those ornaments are looking shiny and new again. So what are you waiting for? Give us a like, that well-deserved 5-star review, and you could be belly up all holiday season.
All right, we get the multi-day time breakdown.
Don't stop, get it. Don't stop, get it. That pussy, rock that pussy, work that pussy.
All right, let's talk about. Oh, I forgot. Normally, I pull that off. My bad. Sorry for our Sunday listeners not used to the language. My bad on that one. Normally, I stop that. I totally zoned out there for a second.
I guess it's
All
too
right,
late to tell them to not safe for children. I guess it's too late after that.
Indeed. All right, so let's talk about the first matchup that actually is going to have happened by the time we do this, and we're talking about the Colts, the Patriots go to Indianapolis tonight. Well, last night, as we're talking about it today. Let's just talk about
what's going to happen.
Right. We'll real quick. We'll talk about what we think may happen in this game. We'll keep, obviously it's already happened. So my thought is, I've heard the same. I've heard this on a few different, podcasts, a few different people, and I do tend to agree. Bill Belichick, obviously we all know he likes to shut down the number one threat. Obviously, the number one threat with Indianapolis is Jonathan Taylor. It's great to always want to shut down the number one threat. It's not always easy to do so. You brought it up last night. The Bills, number one defense against the run. Jonathan Taylor made him look like Swiss cheese. It was no problem. So I don't care what Bill Belichick does. And let's be honest here. Carson Wentz, he hasn't been lights out, but, he's enough of a threat. You can't stack the box. I mean, I think that's why the Colts have been so good this year. They have multiple ways they can beat you. So I agreed. I believe you brought it up last night too, and I've heard it all, and I totally agree that I think Bill Belichick's going to go after the passing game. Make sure there's no big plays in the passing game, kind of keep it on the ground, ball control. Bill Belichick feels like with that defense, he can win that type of ball game. So that's what I see tonight, see for last night, but we'll see what had happened. Nick, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, just to touch on that, New England is 1-2 across the board against every position except running back. According to lineup.com, they are 16th against the running backs. They give up 22 points per game. So big indication that Jonathan Taylor could be steamrolling them all night long. We hope, or we think that's what's going to happen. So if they can't stop Taylor, they're going to stop Pittman. I mean, he is their number one threat. And Carson Wentz, like I said, he hasn't been doing terrible, but I think it's funny that you were saying when you were talking, I was thinking, how is Phillip Rivers a better quarterback last year for the Colts than Carson Wentz this year? Carson is half his age, and but I don't know. That's just the way the rhyme and the reason how things shake out. But I think Carson will do okay. Like you said, he is a threat, but I just you can't count out New England. Do I believe in Carson more than Mac Jones? Obviously, yes, 100% yes. But Bill just got that special whatever the hell it is he does, whether he gets game film and he sends in his little minions or whatever he does, but he is the greatest football coach that there is so far. So he's got it, and he's defensive mastermind. So I think they will win the game, not by much. I think they'll win by a field goal, but look for big things from Taylor, not so much from Pittman, and an okay day from Carson Wentz.
This is the funniest thing ever. Like, we're analyzing a game that has already happened when people are going to hear this. So I think that's hilarious. We shall see. I hope it plays out. I'll be watching this in the car on the way out there, thinking like, man, we really hit it, or damn, we were.
I was just gonna say, everyone's gonna be saying like, son of a gun, those guys actually know what they're talking about. Everything they said happened. It came true. They're geniuses. We should listen more often.
For some reason, I don't know if that's going to happen. All right, let's start.
Zero confidence, my friend. You have zero confidence.
There you go. I confidence, sir, is definitely something I don't lack. I promise you that. All right, let's go on to the Sunday breakdown today. We started our Sunday portion. That was our Saturday portion, which already happened. Now we're actually into the present tense. Titans at Steelers today. Again, we mentioned going to be a little chilly today. The line on this is an even matchup, so it's a pick 'em pretty much, which is interesting to me. I personally feel like I see a clear favorite here. So let's give the fantasy perspective, Nick. The Titans are 25th against fantasy quarterbacks, number 2 against fantasy running backs. Interestingly enough. 31 against the receivers, 6 versus tight ends. On the Steelers side, defensively, 17th versus the quarterback, 24th versus the running back, 21st versus receiver, and 10th versus the tight end. So, my brother, give us your thoughts on this particular matchup.
Well, I'm going to pick my winner right now overall. As you can see.
Big surprise.
It's so pretty, right? So, here, I'm looking at the injury report, and one name that stands out to me on Tennessee is Janoris Jenkins. Janoris Jenkins is their number 1 corner. He is out today. So what do I say? I think it's going to be big looks from Ben to Deontay all day long, and especially if you play in a PPR. Deontay is a stat hog. So he catches everything around him. He averages about 7 to 8 points catches a game. So it's 7 to 8 points guaranteed right there. He's going to get a touchdown. Then you got Freiermuth, who's going to steal a touchdown at the end. I mean, yes, he's touchdown dependent, but does he produce? Yes. Then you got Najee Harris coming in. I think he may do a little more damage in the air today rather than on the ground, but he's going to get points. So again, and also looking at it as well, Tennessee, they give up 22 points per game. They score 24. So it's only a 2-point difference. I think Big Ben's going to have a big day. He's on a hot streak. I think he's going to get another 300-yard game today and 2 TDs. So that is my fantasy impact of the day. So
did you say anything about the Titans or?
Not yet. So let me continue. I'm sorry, I got all Pittsburghese up here.
I know. Here, I'll give the Titans. Let me give the Titans.
I did say I said Jenkins was out.
Yes, you did.
And Tanny's not doing too well. I'll let you cover Tennessee.
Yeah, let me go over Tennessee real quick because you obviously have a very biased view of this game.
Me? Never.
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
I mean, I don't see Najee. I mean, they're number 2 against the running backs, bro. I mean, I don't see Najee going off. I definitely don't see Freiermuth. They're number 6 against tight ends. I don't see a lot out of Freiermuth today. You might see a lot of Deontay Johnson. I do see your point there. As far as Tennessee offensively, though, again, watch out. I think Justin brought Foreman up last night for the red zone carries. He might have a decent day today. Steelers 24th against fantasy running backs, so somebody to watch out for. Maybe even Hilliard gets in there a little bit today. We know prior to when they went on their bye, they both kind of went in. That's when they had their best game. I think Tanny's really struggled because they haven't established a run. So if they do establish that today, again, against a defense that's given up the run, you might see some stuff open up for Julio Jones. Steelers, 21st against fantasy receivers. So watch out for all that today. I think the Titans, there's a reason this game is even. I don't think it's a Pittsburgh blowout, but I do think the Steelers will win this game. All right, let's move on to the next matchup, the Texans at the Jaguars. I mean, I think Dr. Miller said it best when he said that this was like the least fantasy relevant game of the season. But there are some decent guys we got in here. So the Jaguars are favored by 5. Texans defensively, they're 13th versus QB, 28th versus running back, 16th versus receiver, 24th versus tight end. Jaguars 18th versus quarterback, 18th versus running back, 24th versus the receiver, and 20th versus tight end. The only thing I'll just mention with Urban Meyer gone and also Carlos Hyde out of the lineup, I mentioned earlier, Texans are 28th versus fantasy running back, so I like James Robinson a lot today. I like the Jags a lot today, too. I think they're going to blow the Texans out, fired up that Urban Meyer's gone. Nick, what's your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Urban Meyer. Since he got fired, did you know that the Jaguars are now favored by 2 more points?
I did not.
Favored by 2 more points. So what's that mean? Urban Meyer has been costing them points the whole season. Surprise, surprise. So Trevor Lawrence, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass since week 6, I believe. So he's got 9 TDs and 14 picks on the year. That may improve, but I'm telling you, the 2 guys I think are going to have the biggest impact today are David Johnson and James Robinson. Obviously, now that Lawrence has lobbied for Robinson, we need him on the field. And now that Meyer's out of there, I think he's going to put him on the field, and I think he's going to have a big day. Texans are not that good against the run. Hell, they are 1-5 on the road. So that's going to tell you right there they're not good. I think Robinson's going to have 100 yards today and at least 1 touchdown. And I think David Johnson also sneaks one over the goal line because Rex Burkhead is questionable. So whenever Rex Burkhead was out, they went to Royce Freeman. Now, Royce Freeman had a big day, but David Johnson was also out. Now that David Johnson is back, I think they're going to give the ball to David Johnson. Royce Freeman's going to take a back seat, and Freeman's going to take that Rex Burkhead role. And, of course, you always got to watch out. Even though he's questionable, watch out for Brevin Jordan. He's going to get a touchdown today. It just – whenever we don't mention the guy, he goes, here I am. So, again, big day on the ground. I don't think it's going to be a big day in the air for Cooks and for Marvin Jones.
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned Brevin Jordan because I think he's almost like a friend of the show at this point. It's like we've seen always mention that at some point. It might be next year we're gonna start reaching out to people. I think he's gonna be one of the first people we reach out to. Brevin, we appreciate you on the show, man. All right, so I agree with some of it. I think the Texans are gonna really struggle today. I think this Jaguars defense is really, I've seen them improve, and especially now with Urban Meyer out, they're going to be fired up to play this ball game. So I don't really see much out of David Johnson, to be honest with you. And when David Johnson gets in a full workload, he gets hurt. We know that happens. So maybe a little more Royce Freeman today than you might anticipate. Again, James Robinson, a big day. Trevor Lawrence, we'll see. Texans are 13th against fantasy QB, so maybe not that great of a day for him, but maybe they pound the ball a lot. But again, who knows? These guys are all fired up now, so this might be a whole new Jags team. They might be throwing for 500 yards today. You never know. Yes, sir, Nick.
One quick thing. Combined, out of the last 10, you're looking at a game with 2 teams that went 1-9.
Say that one more time. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Combined. Their last 10 games combined, right? Last 5 for Jacksonville, last 5 for Houston. It's a 1-9 ball game that you're watching. So there's only 39.5 points. They think it's going to be the over-under. So I'm going to take the way under on that one.
Wow, that's actually embarrassing. All right.
It's called Snoozeville, not Jacksonville.
Let's go to the Cowboys at the New York Giants. The Cowboys are favored on this one by 10.5. And why the hell not? Giants coming in hobbled. No Daniel Jones. Mike Glennon at the QB spot. Cowboys defensively 7th against fantasy QBs. It might be a rough day for Mr. Glennon. They are number 5 against fantasy running backs. So Saquon Barkley might not be having a good day as well. But oddly, 22. They're 22nd against the receiver and 18th versus tight end. The Giants, on the other hand, 19th versus fantasy quarterbacks, 26th versus fantasy running backs. So we mentioned this game might be a little windy. It's cold. Might see a lot of Zeke. Plus, you got the 26. Giants give up the 26 most points to fantasy running backs. good day for Zeke. And if Tony Pollard goes, another good day for him too. 25th versus the receiver. So again, expect CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, the usual suspects to do well. 15th versus the tight end. I like the Cowboys a lot in this game, no matter what kind of wind goes on. It could be a damn tornado. It doesn't matter. I think the tornado is coming into New York and ripping the Giants up today. What do you think, Nick? Who you like in this matchup? Who you got?
I'm not even going to say their name, but I like the team that wears the silver and the navy, at least on their helmets, because their uniforms don't even match. But that's fine with me. We're going to go. The over-under is 44.5. The big thing I see is going to be Zeke's going to have a big day due to the fact that Pollard is questionable with that plantar fasciitis. And then Prescott's going to have a decent day. The thing that's holding Prescott back for a lot of fantasy owners is he doesn't run anymore. He just doesn't run. So everything's going to depend on him and the pass. And you did mention it's going to be 14-mile-an-hour winds. So CeeDee Lamb will have a decent day. It might be a lot of short passes, maybe a 7-yard slant and like an 80-yard run or something, big run. But I think they're going to stay on the ground. I think the key. Not that Dallas is afraid of New York. It's just a ball control offense. As long as you keep Zeke on the field and you keep the ball, the Giants can't score. I mean, they really can't score anyway. In their last 5 games, the Giants are 2-3, and they've given up 23 plus points every. They've only scored 23 plus points. No, 23 points, and they've given up like 37, 20. 30 and 16. So they're not that good on that side of the ball. Dallas is going to roll all over them. Just give the ball to Zeke. He'll probably have about an 80-yard game, one score game, and then CeeDee Lamb will have 100 yards and a score.
Yeah, Amari Cooper, he seemed to emerge a little bit last week too, so I do like him today also. In general, I like the Cowboys to do well. Can I tell you some crazy thing I just heard? Like, I'm sitting here, I'm in the house all by myself. I literally just heard a door open and close. It was my dog literally just opened a door and then walked in and closed the door. I mean, the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. All right.
Are you sure it was your dog?
I'm positive. I can hear her leash walking like a crazy person. All right, let's go here to the Jets at the America's team, the Miami Dolphins. It's ironic that I've been calling the Miami Dolphins America's team, and TSS Fantasy will be here today holding the American flag for the game. That's what I'm talking about. That's the fantasy show to people. All right, the Jets at the Dolphins. Miami's favored by 9.5 this ball game. And why the hell not? Because TSS Fantasy, the commish will be there to root them on. We got, for the Jets side, 27th against fantasy quarterbacks, 32nd dead last against fantasy running backs, 7th against the receiver, and 25th against the tight end. For the Dolphins side, 12th against fantasy quarterbacks, 8th versus the running back, 28th versus the receiver, and 16th versus the tight end. So, just a real quick thing for me. I'm not necessarily – I put Tua as a sit this week because I'm not really in love with Tua without Jalen Waddle. Unfortunately, we didn't get our game postponed, so I don't get Jalen Waddle for this matchup. I like Devontae Parker, obviously, to do well because of volume, but that doesn't mean Tua's going to have a great game because he's had such a good connection with Jalen. I'm just concerned him going into this game against a pretty decent secondary. Again, 7th versus fantasy receivers. So, again, a little concern going into this matchup. But, again, thankfully, Myles Gaskin is back. So, again, for a team that's 32nd against the fantasy RB, I like Myles Gaskin day. And, of course, I like Miami with the W because of the defense, wills it out. All right, Nick, what's your thoughts on the matchup?
Well, the matchup is not even going to be even close. I think Miami's just going to steamroll them. They're 4-3 at home, 6-7 overall. They're on a hot streak. Myles Gaskin could possibly get 150 yards today. Could possibly just get 150 yards. I know, Cooper, you're going to feel great. Will he get 150 yards? Probably not. But he's going to have a big day. He's going to have a big day today. I think Devontae Parker's going to have a big game today. I think he'll probably have he'll definitely have a score, I think, today. Zach Wilson, he's got 6 TDs and 11 picks on the year. I think he's going to come out with maybe 6 TDs and maybe 14 picks on the year. And interesting enough, you did not mention the also number one receiving weapon on Miami, which is Mike Gesicki. I think now that Jalen Waddle is out, Gesicki's going to benefit, especially down in the red zone area. So he'll probably get maybe 5 targets today, probably 3 receptions and a touchdown. Going into this game, the Jets have scored on average 17 points per game. They've given up 30.5. So, good luck with that. Don't play the Jets defense. Actually, no one's playing the Jets defense. I actually started in my stardom and sit-ups. I actually started Miami this week. Miami's averaging 19.5, and they're giving up 22.5. So, with all that being said, I think the Jets are 1-4. They beat Houston in their last 5 games, and the Dolphins, America's team, according to somebody not named Flanders, is 5-0 in their last 5 games. They beat the Jets, they beat the Panthers, the Giants, the Ravens, and the Texans. So, again, on Fantasy Factor, it's going to be Mike Gesicki and the Dolphins defense and Myles Gaskin.
I didn't mention Gesicki, sir, because I was leaving meat on the bone. And we can't get more meatier than Mike Gesicki today. Love
We
it.
can, but we really don't want to.
All right, let's go on to a matchup that, is going to be good for one team fantasy-wise, maybe not so good for the other. The Cardinals visit Detroit, and, man, this could get sloppy early. Cardinals are favored by 12.5 in this one. Cardinals defense against fantasy quarterbacks, number 3. They are 13 against the running backs, 17th against the receiver, and number 2 against tight ends. The Lions, they are 14th against fantasy quarterbacks, surprisingly enough, 29th versus the running backs, 12th versus receiver, and 19th versus the tight end. So, we talked about earlier, you mentioned Zach Ertz. I liked him in this game with no DeAndre Hopkins. We talked about that last night with Kirk, Moore, AJ Green. I mean, they're all kind of like they have their own special qualities, if you will. Maybe if they all put together, they'd make a great receiver. But they're all kind of the same. And when DeAndre Hopkins went down before, nobody really stepped up. So I like actually the guy I like today is Zach Ertz if he's healthy. 19th against fantasy tight ends. And again, the main guy I like because he's in my ultimate team flex is James Conner. I like him big today against the 29th ranked running defense. All right, my friend, what do you think of this matchup?
Okay, I was trying to look, but I didn't see anything definitive. Is Chase Edmonds back yet?
I believe he is. So I believe he was back last week. I think they kind of worked, but because he's come back off injury, you're kind of working him in a little bit.
Okay, so that's going to lead into my analysis. I think obviously Connor's going to be your lead back. Now, how much of Edmonds is going to eat into that? So, do they give the ball to Eno Benjamin? I'm not sure. So your safe pick, and obviously your number one running back for scoring touchdowns this year is James Conner. Now, overall, Arizona is 10-3, and they're 7-0 on the road. And we know about Detroit; they are 1-11, and they're 1-5 at home. So going into that, I think Kyler Murray is just going to explode on him today. And I think, obviously, James Conner, he's going to add to his 14 touchdowns on the ground. I think he's going to come out with 16. Swift is out. Okay, so we're going to have that 3-headed monster in the backfield, as you mentioned. Hawkinson is out. So then we have to go to their second string tight end, which I don't know how well he's going to do. D-Hop is out. So look for big day against Detroit for AJ Green. Yes, I said it. AJ Green is going to have a big day today. Let's see, the Cardinals, they are 3-2 in their last 5. So that's my take on that. Look for nothing from Detroit except for Amon-Ra St. Brown and garbage time coming from Jared Goff.
Gotcha. Yeah, so to our listening audience, sorry, my wife just got home. Our littlest one is autistic, and she sometimes, boy, she don't play around. She better get what you want, or she gonna let you hear it. All right,
Well,
so
I try to talk more to cover that up, so I hope
it's all good. Yeah, we gotta deal with it. Hey, if I gotta deal with it, our audience we're all family, right? That's what we do.
Right.
Here. All right, so the Lions, I totally agree. Again, some garbage time minutes for Amon St. Brown. I like that. That's a good analysis. We'll keep it moving. All right, Panthers at Bills. Talked about this one being a cold one. Bills are favored by 10.5. I mean, I see this being a defensive slobber knocker, if you will. Both these defenses are really good. Panthers 5 against fantasy QBs, 3 versus the running back, 5 versus receiver, and 3 versus the tight end. Bills are number 1 against the quarterback, 10 versus running back, number 1 versus receiver, and 5th versus the tight end. Josh Allen a little hobbled with a sprained foot. However, it's still Josh Allen. He's starting to get hot, I think, a little bit. So I like Josh Allen today. I think he'll have a decent go at it. It might not be the gangbuster Josh Allen performance you usually see, but I do like him today. And again, we talked about maybe Gabriel Davis stepping up without Emmanuel Sanders there. So anyway, my friend, what do you think of this matchup?
All right, so let's start with Carolina. First of all,
I know you're going to go there.
Their quarterback situation is abysmal. When you got Cam Newton and they say, you know what, let me pull Cam for PJ Walker. That's not good, especially, he handles things better than Cam does. And I don't want to hear that crap about terminology and this, that. Come on, dude. No, Cam is just terrible. I think we've been living off the reputation of the early season from Carolina. Carolina did start off 3-0, but now their record is 5-8. So they are not as good as what we thought they were in the beginning of the year. Buffalo is 7-6. They're faltering. In this game, it's going to be all Jared Allen, Josh Allen, right? Yeah, Josh Allen, Chuba Hubbard. Dude, sit down, have a seat. Ain't going to happen. The thing that worries me about Buffalo going forward is that they become one-dimensional. It's all passing, and the only person that's really running the ball well up there is Josh Allen. So they will get by today. They will beat Carolina at home. Stephon Diggs will have a big game. Gabriel Brown will have it. Gabriel Brown, is that his name? Gabriel.
Yeah, Davis.
Gabriel Davis, right? Yeah. He'll have a big game today too. And I'm looking for Dawson Knox to get a touchdown as well. Emmanuel Sanders doubtful. He hasn't been playing well. Who cares? Carolina is 1-4 in their last 5, and Buffalo is 2-3. So both teams on the downslide of their schedule. But again, I trust Buffalo a lot more, especially at home against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, who have no running game anymore. DJ Moore's questionable. So your number 1 receiving option is Robbie Anderson, and forget that. So good luck.
Yes, indeed. Good luck, to say the least, is needed. Falcons at the 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 9.5 in this particular matchup. Again, the Falcons are going all the way over to the West Coast. So you can imagine any East Coast teams that go over the West Coast always struggle. And again, it's the Falcons. So, what do you expect there? Talking about defensively, the Falcons quarterbacks are defensively 31st against the quarterback, 25th versus running back, 29th versus receiver, and 14th versus the tight end. The 49ers defensively 24th versus quarterback, 19th versus the running back, and 23rd versus receiver, 4th versus tight end. So Kyle Pitts, again, their only pretty much weapon at this point, may find some struggles against this stout 49er defense against the tight end. So it's going to be interesting to see how they even do anything today, to be quite frank. And again, with the 31st QB rating on defense, I like Jimmy G a lot today. What's your thoughts today on this matchup, sir?
Well, you're going to sit Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's pretty much done in Atlanta. The only matchup-proof player, we keep mentioning his name on Atlanta, is Cordero Patterson. He's going to go against a very, very tough 49ers defense. And on the 49ers side, Jimmy G's been playing well as of late. And the guy to circle is Jeff Wilson Jr. He always comes in at the end of the season. Elijah Mitchell is out. Look for Jeff Wilson to have a decent game today. Figure about 80 yards today, maybe be a touchdown or two. And then you got George Kittle, he's caught the magic this year. And given the fact that now Debo is primarily a running back, Ayuk is going to get the bulk of the targets for wide receivers. So you can start any offensive player for San Francisco.
Indeed. All right. Well, yeah. Again, Falcons are probably going to get trounced today. They're horrible defense
easily
all the way around. Just don't play well in D. 49ers, I like the run. They're going to set up the run all day today. And then again, George Kittle, you mentioned him earlier, getting out, getting streaky, getting in that end zone. That's why we talked about him earlier not being so good in the offseason because he wasn't in the end zone. Now he is, so definitely up on everyone's radar for sure.
Matt Ryan just is so frustrated.
Yeah, indeed. Let's go on to the next matchup, the Bengals at the Broncos. So the Bengals, this is a good matchup. Again, another good defensive battle I see here. Broncos are favored by 3. Defensively, the Bengals are number 11 versus the fantasy QB, 18th versus the running back, 18th versus receiver, 23rd versus the tight end. And the Broncos, defensively, they have been really great. Number 4 against fantasy quarterbacks, number 7 versus fantasy running back, 9 versus receiver, and 3rd versus fantasy tight ends. So again, this one to me looks like a back and forth brawl because, Broncos offense doesn't really do much. They're favored by 3 in this one. But I do like the Bengals in this game because I just think offensively, even though the Broncos D is good, they have more of a shot to get something going than the Teddy Bridgewater and these boys that pretty much are just a run offense, which is pretty much what they are. All right, my friend, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I heard an interesting stat today that the Broncos have only allowed 1 rushing touchdown since week 8.
Wow.
So watch out for that. But I think Joe Mixon is on it. The Bengals offensive line has produced very, very well this season, especially in the run game. And Joe Mixon has stayed healthy. So you're going to start Joe Mixon today. You're going to start Burrow today and Chase. Okay, so those 3. As far as Denver goes, you're going to sit everybody. You're going to sit everybody except for Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams because there's nobody else worth playing at all. Teddy Bridgewater, he's a name and he's a game manager. They don't want him to have the ball when it comes down to crunch time. And Melvin Gordon, I believe he's your first or second ranked goal line running back in the red zone. So again, it's going to be a ground control offense for Denver. In the last 5 games, Cincinnati is 2-3, and the Broncos are 3-2. So it's going to be a flip game. I think coin flip game, but who knows? I think Denver is going to win this game though. But the bulk of the offense is going to come out of the 2 running backs. Nothing from Sutton, nothing from Judy, and Noah Fant has just become completely irrelevant lately. You can't even start him. He's not even a tier 3 running back. Tight end. He's a top tier 3. You can't even start him. You need 4 points. Give me Fant.
Indeed. Noah Fant, we talked about him being a starter last week, and then the second tight end ended up showing out last week. So, he definitely, like I said, I don't know what's going on with him this year, but he definitely has to step up a little bit for sure. All right, let's go to the next matchup. The Packers visit Baltimore. An interesting matchup here. The Packers favored by 6.5. Baltimore is definitely on the downside going towards the end of the season. Packers defensively 8th versus fantasy quarterbacks, 11th versus the running back, 14th versus receiver, and 14th versus tight ends. The Ravens, this is not your old school Ravens, 22nd against fantasy quarterbacks, but they are 6th versus the running back, 13th versus receiver, 28th versus the tight end, interesting enough. So again, this matchup, I like Aaron Rodgers. I like him a lot. And again, Baltimore struggled. Packers D has been playing great. I like Packers big in this game. That's pretty much all I got to say about that. What you think about this matchup?
Okay, so the over-under is 43.5. Right now, Baltimore is getting 6.5. So the one guy you got to watch out for on Baltimore, I would start Devontae Freeman, because even though Green Bay is 6th against the run, by volume, he's going to get the ball because, as we said, if Lamar Jackson plays, he can't run that well. And then, of course, if he doesn't start or if he gets hurt, they got to pull him. They're going to bring in Huntley, and whenever Huntley comes in, they give the ball to Devontae Freeman. So on volume alone, especially down in the goal line, they're going to give the ball to Devontae Freeman on there. Now, I think we all know about Devontae Adams. We said it before earlier, and everyone laughed. Allen Lazard may be a key for this game because MVS is questionable. So Allen Lazard has become he's emerged as the number 2. Yeah, we know about Randall Cobb, the red zone targets, but has he produced? Okay, so again, I'm going to say Allen Lazard will be a key factor today. So he will be a low-end flex. But if you need him, and as we mentioned before, everything has become very fluid with COVID and then games moving and this and that. So you might want to pay attention to Allen Lazard today. In the last 5 games, Green Bay is 3-2. They've won scoring 45, 36, and 17. And that was Green Bay. The Ravens are 2-3, and their big production wins have been 18 and 16 points. So it's not going to be a high producing scoring game on Baltimore side. They're just on the downslide, and with Lamar Jackson out, that's going to really bring down that point production.
Indeed. All right, let's go on to the night game. The Saints at the Bucks. Bucks favored by 11. The Saints, again, have a pretty decent defense, but, that's against the run. And that's pretty much it because other than that, the Saints offensively have just been abysmal. Bucks, let's talk about first defensively. Bucks 26 versus the quarterback, 16th versus running backs, 20th versus receiver, and 26 versus fantasy tight ends. Saints 21 versus fantasy QBs, number 1 versus fantasy running backs. And with the hobbled Leonard Fournette, might temper your expectations this week. 27th versus receivers and 9th versus the tight end. Who do you like in this matchup, sir?
I think, again, this game's going to be an offensive show, especially from Tampa Bay side. Like you mentioned, New Orleans, they're atrocious on defense. Even though they are bad, it's going to be I think it's going to be a big game for Tampa Bay. Even though Fournette is hobbled, you got to like Rojo. So again, there's another game. There's another guy got to watch. Watch the injury report. Is Fournette definitely a go? And of course, you're going to start Tom Brady. You're going to start Chris Godwin. Especially you're going to put Godwin in there for PPR because he just gets all the targets. He gets all the receptions. And Mike Evans, he scores at home every single game. He's your number 1 scoring receiver in the league, especially for standard as far as tight end goes. I'd say wide receivers for touchdowns. I think he's got 10 or 11 on the year. So you're going to start everybody on offense for Tampa Bay. And as far as New Orleans, he's not a good matchup, but you're going to start Alvin Kamara because he's all they got. I don't trust Taysom Hill down there. Running the ball, yes. Passing the ball against Tampa Bay, not so much. They haven't been great, but they've been getting better. And Tampa Bay is 6-0 at home. They don't lose at home. It's just a fact. So Tampa Bay is 4-1 in their last 5, and New Orleans is 1-4. And the only team that they beat in the last 5 games, the Saints beat the Jets. So.
All right, so we only got a few more minutes, so we'll cover the early Monday nighter because usually we cover the Monday night while it's on anyway, so the regular Monday night. So let's go over real quickly the early Monday nighter, the 5 p.m. Raiders at Browns. Raiders favored by 3.5 in this matchup. Raiders defensively 23rd versus QB, 30th versus fantasy running back. So, like I said, Chubb, Dearness Johnson might be great plays. 6th versus receivers. Who knows if Cleveland will even have any? And 30th versus a tight end. We talked about Austin Hooper with Njoku being hurt, being a good play this week anyway. Browns are 15th versus fantasy QBs, 9th versus the running back, 10th versus receiver, 21st versus tight end. So good defense overall. Nick, what are you? Oh, and my bad. The Raiders, surprisingly, in this matchup are favored by 3.5. I believe that's because of all the COVID situation. So what is your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, my thoughts initially were the game initially was supposed to be played today. So it was supposed to be rainy, sloppy, messy in Cleveland. Now they pushed it to Monday. It's supposed to be a lot nicer. So that's going to allow for passing. But the number one receiving option for Cleveland is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Because look who's out for Cleveland. Case Keenum, out. Jarvis Landry, out. Austin Hooper, out. Jadeveon Clowney, out. So as far as Cleveland,
that's us for now. So who knows? They may be ready to go by Monday night.
We don't know if Baker's going to go. They just signed Nick Mullins to start the game,
right?
So he's not going to. So if it's Nick Mullins, it's going to be a big time day for the Raiders defense. If it's not Nick Mullins, it's going to be less of a big time day because we all saw Baker play this whole season. With that being said, for the running back side, interesting report I also heard. The Raiders are considering benching Derek Carr in favor of Marcus Mariota. I heard that off of thespun.com due to the fact that the Raiders they're not in playoff contention anymore. They feel that the season is going sideways. So why keep rolling Derek Carr out there? So they're going to put in Mariota. It's rumors, it's speculation, but it could come to fruition. So just keep an eye on that later on down the season. But as far as today's game, Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game. Nick Chubb's going to have a big game. Dearness Johnson should have a big game. And, of course, Hunter Renfrow, especially in the terms of PPR, Hunter Renfrow catches everything that's within 5 yards of him. So going forward, those are the games that you can play. I just mentioned it. The Raiders, they are 1-4 in their last five games, and Cleveland is 3-2. And we will move on to the next game because I know we're up against it.
Well, yeah, no, we're good. We're going to talk, like I said, we're going to talk the Monday nighter when we do. That's when we usually talk about the Monday night game anyway, is on Monday night.
Okay.
That's how we usually do it anyway. So all good either way. So we got through the early one. That was the one that we won't be on while that one's on. That'll be a good matchup. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see, again, we could say this stuff is already hard as it is. Enter this COVID situation. It is literally impossible. So I'm glad you guys are here with us. We're here with you. We're here to help you out. Don't forget to check us out today live down in Miami. We're going to be up there. We're going to be doing the flag ceremony. It's going to be great. TSS Fantasy is everywhere. We love it. We appreciate you guys, and we are out.
Thank you, TSS family. We love you.